I first looked at this as an idea when swine flu and banking contagion was a backdrop. And I thought the idea of international interconnectivity and the dependence between cultures and the fact that Obama is now in the White House concerned about the fact that there's been financial unmanageability in Greece, it felt like we had entered the domino effect of credit crisis and banking insolvencies, and the European zone, and the way in which we're all entirely interconnected now, and that the irresponsible actions of one country have a direct domino effect on the stability of other countries that had previously not been related at all. I mean, the financial crisis that started in Iceland. That made me think about our interconnectivity internationally. And I wanted to set that up in a story of personal responsibility. Obviously, I didn't want to write a film about financial contagion. But I noticed that this year, the idea of contagion and the way in which we are all interconnected is a theme running in between a number of films. Soderbergh's film deals with it in bacterial terms. And I think of this film as a virus. I think of this film as viral, romantic connections, and the way in which the fact that we are in different countries and different cultures becomes completely irrelevant, and the fact that it is one community, not just the internet that has flattened the world, but that saying that the world is flat has become such a commonplace now, and we are all feeling that more than ever. That was why I wanted to write it. But of course I wanted to write that romantically rather than politically.
Of course, when I first read the script, I was invited to direct the film, and after reading the first time, the only actor that came up, I mean, of course, hundreds of actors, but there was one that I said, this guy will be in the film. He was Jamel Debbouze, the French guy. I mean, I had met him before, and I'm a big fan, and was a character that very different from everything that he plays. So, but besides Jamel, after reading it, I mean, I didn't know where to go. So it was a long process. I mean, I didn't know much Russian actors, and didn't know Slovakian actresses, and I think that was the beauty of the project for me, and the challenge of finding people and going to different places and watching a lot of Slovakian films or Russian films or German films, and to find the face of each character, and this process, I think, was really fascinating for me.
В общем, казалось, что будет, не знаю, будет страшно, ужасно и непонятно, как это делать.
First I thought it was going to be really scary, really terrible, and I wouldn't know what to do.
Да. Но когда познакомился с режиссером, оказалось, что это милейший человек. Простите за слово такое.
But when I met the director, he turned out to be a lovely person. I'm sorry for choosing this word.
Да, и
For me, the experience of playing in 3 languages, Russian, French, and English, and to play with actors from different countries, it is like a reflection of our society nowadays, and the film also. It's like the reflection of what's happening now. No, the boards are more or less, if I say, no more boards, and it's great to do this. It's great.
It was an amazing experience. It was a big luck that someone wrote a story where there's 2 Slovakians. Imagine that. It's really crazy. So I'm really grateful about that. I'm grateful that Fernando could see us in the roles, even though I have to be a prostitute and naked. Yeah, I have to deal with this, but they made me feel really good. It was very comfortable.
Well, I think, first of all, I think there is no small parts. There's no such thing as a small part. It's just, to me, it's. I mean, cinema it's about dreams. To me, this whole work is sort of like a dream, and to be in a situation where I get an email from Fernando Meirelles asking me whether I want to be in this movie is it's just a part of of a dream. So, you know, I heard that Peter Morgan wrote the script, so I didn't even read it. And I say, yeah, you know. So, really, I did not. I said, yeah, just tell him, yes, I do it.
We had quite a lot of prep time. The hardest single part of the film was getting the snowstorm because it was such a prerequisite of the script. And we actually just went, three of us went, we did a lot of research in finding the best place in the US where it was most likely to snow, which was Minneapolis. And actually, when we flew over there, we got as far as Chicago, and there was so much snow we couldn't get to Minneapolis. So we actually ended up just three of us getting in a car and driving for 8 hours and straight to the airport. But the rest of it actually wasn't as difficult. I mean, it was more just the process of moving all of us. But we're quite a small core crew of about 15 people, and then the rest of it we had our Austrian partners. And it sort of fairly looks more complicated in the film because we cheated quite a few places, like the airport, and we did it at Ascot Racecourse. So some places we didn't go as far as you think.
The most complicated thing in this process, and tell me if I'm wrong, was really putting the financing together. Because this is a very rare film that there's no owner, you know. There's so many financiers and investors and money coming from so many different places that to put all the contracts together was really a nightmare, wasn't it? And nobody really owns the film. It's really shared. It's a very global film, split by different investors and companies, and it was really an engineering, very high-tech engineering.
I think it's true. I'm sure when you do co-productions, you're usually trying to manufacture and lie and pretend you're shooting something in Germany or France. And in this case, Peter wrote a script that actually lent itself to a natural co-production. And Fernando is Brazilian, so he did a lot of the post-production work in Brazil, so they were a partner in the film. So it's unusual to work on a project where it was genuinely international. We didn't have to manufacture anything to make it work for a co-production.
We have no control how the film will be perceived. I can tell that my last experience, which was Blindness, was really the craziest, because the film was a total flop in US or even here or France, but made a lot of money in Brazil, Mexico, Korea. It's really uncontrollable. I don't know what he has to, and I'm sure this film will be perceived in very different ways. I mean, in Toronto we had some laughs. I mean, we showed the film in Toronto, this film. And we had some laughs in places that I've never expected. Remember, the audience would laugh all the time. So, oh, this is dramatic, and people thought it was funny. So it's really, which I like very much. I love to see different reactions from different audience, of course.